And these are the visuals we're getting for you from Delhi Metro. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is accompanied by the visiting Australian dignitary Malcolm Turnbull, Australian Prime Minister. And they have started from the Mandi House metro station in the national capital. We have the Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull at the Mandi House metro station, taking a look at the architectural marvel of the national capital, Delhi Metro, which is synonymous with the essence of Delhi. And here we have the Prime Minister acquainting the visiting dignitary with what Delhi Metro is. And from here on, we expect both the dignitaries to travel by metro. And at present, both of them are at Mandi House metro station, which is at Connaught Place, New Delhi. The Indian Prime Minister acquainting the Australian Prime Minister with Delhi Metro. And here we have the visuals. We know Delhi Metro has been serving New Delhi and its satellite cities of Faridabad, Noida, also Gurgaon and Ghaziabad. And it is, we know, the world's 12th largest metro system when we talk of both length and the number of stations. So here we have Australian Prime Minister getting a first-hand account of how Delhi Metro functions. Now we have a total of 160 stations serving through Delhi Metro. Earlier in the day, we saw the Australian Prime Minister had held bilateral talks with the Indian Prime Minister, and we saw 6 MOUs had been signed between both the nations. This is the first visit of the Australian Prime Minister to India. Earlier, we saw the Indian Prime Minister meet the Australian Prime Minister on the sidelines of the G20 meet in 2015 and 16, and this time it will be for the first time that both the leaders have had a one-on-one meeting, which happened today afternoon. Earlier in the day, the visiting Australian Prime Minister also visited Rajghat, and he paid floral tributes to the father of the nation there. And External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj also called upon the visiting dignitary. Here we have both the leaders at Mandi House metro station in the national capital. And both the leaders are most likely to travel by a metro train at Mandi House. Both the leaders are waving to the general public who is standing there to have a glimpse, and the crowds there waving to the Indian Prime Minister. And we have the chants of Modi, Modi, evident of the aura the Prime Minister has. Now we know this is the first visit of the Australian Prime Minister to India. He has talked of how India is scripting a positive growth story and how he looks forward to taking the existing relationship between the two countries to the next level, and how both the leaders will work closely to deepen the bond between the nations. And here we have both the leaders at Mandi House metro station. The Australian Prime Minister is acquainting himself with one of the marvels of the national capital of the country, the Delhi Metro. The Delhi Metro has an average daily ridership of more than 2 million passengers. And all right, here we have the crowd there going berserk. The chants of Modi, Modi there. The welcome the Prime Minister there is getting from his countrymen at Mandi House metro station in the national capital. And this is the charisma, the charm of the Indian Prime Minister, which attracts the people there, the countrymen there, waving, trying to shake hands with the Prime Minister. We have both the leaders, the Australian Prime Minister and the Indian Prime Minister, at the Mandi House metro station, and the Australian Prime Minister very nicely smiling at the warm welcome which is being witnessed at the Mandi House metro station in the national capital. Both the leaders from here are likely to take a metro ride, in Delhi Metro. All right, our correspondent Amrit Singh is joining us to get us more on that. Amrit, both the leaders there are at the Delhi Metro. We've seen Prime Minister also, when he has visited the nations abroad, he also has made an effort to take a look and learn from the transport systems in different parts of the world wherever he has visited. And today we have the Australian Prime Minister acquainting himself with the marvel of the national capital, the Delhi Metro.
Oh, absolutely. This is clearly a sight with Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Turnbull at the Mandi House metro station in the heart of New Delhi, near Connaught Place. This is Prime Minister Turnbull's first visit to India. Now, as India becomes, remember when he started this visit, he said what a growth story India is. So metro in that sense is a symbol of an aspiring India, an India which wants to catch the road to development and fast-track the development process. So clearly, what better symbolism than watching the metro, which is one of the world-class, tube systems. So in that sense, the Prime Minister Turnbull actually coming down with Prime Minister Modi during his first visit and actually seeing how India wishes to get onto the road of progress and development, and Australia and India can partner together be it in the field of energy, be it in the field of education, be it in the field of sciences, be it in the field of science and technology. Clearly this symbolism reflects that.
All right, these are the visuals we're getting for you from Mandi House. Exclusive visuals. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and visiting Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull taking a ride in the Delhi Metro. Both the leaders are at Mandi House metro station in the national capital. And as we know, Delhi Metro is symbolic of the very inspiring growth story which Malcolm Turnbull referred to before he reached India, and he talked of what a perfect growth story India pictures. And here we have both the leaders waving to the general masses, the riders there who've come for a ride to Delhi Metro, but I'm sure they would have been taken by surprise to see the visiting dignitaries there at metro station. Amrit Pal is still with us. Amrit, how significant has been the day today? We saw both the leaders, they had bilateral talks in the morning. 6 MOUs had been signed, and now we have both of them taking a ride in the metro. Let us know more. And all right, here we have on our screens Australian Prime Minister taking a selfie. Amrit, if I'm audible to you, please let us know how important has been the day today. We have a very good sense of rapport between both the two leaders there. Australian Prime Minister clicking a selfie with the Indian Prime Minister. Very symbolic. The body language there between the two leaders, very symbolic when we talk of the aspirations of the Australian Prime Minister when he talked of taking the bilateral relationship to the next level.
Well, what you saw a little while back at the Hyderabad House was formal agreements being signed in a formal setting of the stately Hyderabad House, and here we see the two prime ministers of Asian giants actually in a very informal setting, sitting in a metro taking selfies. Along with on the right is the High Commissioner to India, Harjeet Sidhu, the Canadian High Commissioner to India, Harjeet Sidhu. Prime Minister Turnbull and Prime Minister Modi chatting. It's what we know is that Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Turnbull are expected to go down to Akshardham temple. They are traveling in the metro. They took this metro from Mandi House. So that means they travel a few kilometers down this metro lane.
And yes, Amrit, just for the information of our viewers, both the leaders have now reached Pragati Maidan metro station. A short while back, they started from Mandi House metro station in the national capital. Amrit, we were talking of the rapport between both the leaders. Please continue.
Oh, absolutely. You know, this is reflective of how, the trust that is the growing trust between the two countries. Prime Minister Turnbull repeatedly taking selfies, see the relaxed mood between the two leaders, and it's a very, very informal setting. Now, what happens is, of course, when two nations interact, there are their interests that are paramount, national interests that are paramount, and that's what guides the relationship and drives the relationship. But the personal chemistry between the two leaders or any two principals can be a factor to give the push. Now, when Prime Minister Turnbull had met Prime Minister Modi first time on the sidelines of G20 in China, that is when he had just become the Prime Minister. So they had struck a rapport, and over the period of time, this relationship has grown. It finally fructified into this visit, state visit of the Australian Prime Minister to India. Now, after concluding a formal business, the two leaders just taking a leisurely metro ride to the Akshardham station speaks much about how the relationship between the two principals is reflective of the growing relationship of trust, cooperation, and coming together of the two great countries. I mean, Prime Minister Turnbull said that we highly appreciated Prime Minister Modi's initiative on the Solar Alliance, and finally Australia decided to join the Solar Alliance. Now, Australia throwing its weight behind the International Solar Alliance would give a big push to the International Solar Alliance. Now, this kind of personal chemistry and personal rapport does play an important role in pushing the relationship forward, which is clearly evident in the visuals that we see on our screens right now. When both Prime Ministers took this metro, and at this hour, Priti, as you would know, metro Mandi House is very close to Connaught Place. It's a very crowded station. There were people on the other side. So the two Prime Ministers waving, especially Prime Minister Turnbull, waving at the commuters who must have been taken by surprise. So, in this informal setting, it talks about how the relations, there is a sense of...
Yes, the two leaders have just departed, have left the Indraprastha station. And for the information of our viewers who've joined us late, the Prime Minister of both the two countries, they started from Mandi House metro station in the national capital, and we also had beautiful moments where both the leaders waved to the commuters there, and we also had the Australian Prime Minister click a selfie, and he's perhaps showing the selfie and he's perhaps posting it on the social media there. Amrit, we were talking with you and we were talking of this rapport between the two leaders. Also, let us know more as to how significant and how important has been the day. 6 MOUs had been signed between both the leaders. Apart from that, as the Indian Prime Minister said, the whole gamut of issues have been taken up by the two leaders. What have been the most important takeaways?
Okay, before we talk about that, let me tell you that I can confirm with you that now the two leaders are actually proceeding towards Akshardham temple. They will be getting off at the Akshardham station. They've crossed 3 stations from Mandi House, taken this metro ride. I have personally taken this route many times, so I know you must have also taken this route, Preeti. So, it's just a few stations away. And the Prime Minister Turnbull taking out time from his hectic schedule, and also Prime Minister Modi on a day when, an international leader is in town, on a day when the Parliament is on, the Prime Minister taking out time and, investing time in a very informal setting that speaks of the bonhomie that's clearly evident on the screens. Important day, yes. 6 very important agreements, right from combating terror, money laundering, transnational crime, cooperation in that, cooperation in the field of higher education, a huge delegation accompanied...
and here the leaders have reached the Yamuna Bank station. And we have the commuters there waving to the Indian Prime Minister. And they're caught by surprise.
Pretty, this is a very interesting sight where small little children have come onto the platform. They are waving, they're looking at Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Turnbull at this Yamuna Bank station. People actually trying to get out and take a selfie. I cannot see any security around. So these are people on the platform, clearly taken by surprise. You can see the enthusiasm.
And I'm sure even the Australian Prime Minister must have also been taken by surprise. The warm welcome, the overwhelming response which was seen at the Mandi House metro station. The people, the commuters, they're chanting Modi, Modi. And here we have the children rushing to take a glimpse, to catch a glimpse of the Indian Prime Minister there, isn't it, Amrit?
Both the Indian Prime Minister and the Australian Prime Minister, and you can see the the sense of amusement on the face of the Australian Prime Minister. He's clearly pleasantly taken by surprise, where people just rushed right up to the window pane of the metro, and they try to wave to him, try to take selfies, and it was a little while before the metro security realized what was happening and tried to come and build a human chain and get them away. But it surely speaks of the bonhomie that we can see right now. Also, it's symbolic of a growing India, an India which is on the fast track of development, which Prime Minister Turnbull referred to before he came to India, when he said what a growth story India is. Today at the Hyderabad House, after the signing of the agreement, saying that referring to Prime Minister Modi, saying you're the leader of the largest democracy of the world. You are on a path to development. We would think very highly of your growth story and would want to be an important partner in it. So today, taking this metro journey is symbolic of that, of the infrastructure forward movement and development that India seeks, and the growth story of India that carries on.
Right, Amrit, we also saw in the morning the Prime Minister said that 6 MOUs have been signed. Terror was one of the areas where both the leaders signed an MOU. I would want you to emphasize more on the peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region, and also how Prime Minister said that terrorism and cybersecurity require global strategy. At the same time, both the leaders also talked of combating terrorism and joining hands in the field. Let us know more about that. And here we have both the leaders getting ready to get off from the metro train to the Akshardham metro station.
Yes, they've reached the Akshardham metro station. Prime Minister Turnbull put on his glasses and tried to look at the Akshardham temple, which you can see from the metro itself. Now they've disembarked from the metro and are at the Akshardham station. They've taken a ride from the Mandi House metro station to the Akshardham metro station.
Yes, Amrit. So we have both the leaders there reach the Akshardham metro station, and what is to be noticed is that earlier they witnessed the lifeline of the national capital, an architectural marvel the Delhi metro is, and now they're going to witness another architectural marvel, Akshardham temple, which is indeed one of the wonders when we talk, which is in East Delhi. And here we have both the leaders leave the metro station, Akshardham metro station, in the national capital.
Well, I'm sure Prime Minister Turnbull would have been pleasantly surprised, and this is what he would have been looking forward to, the wonder that India is.
Yes.
Here you have metro, a symbolism of development, a symbolism of growth, a symbolism of an India aspiring to be modern, and right on the bank of that, right next to that, is the Akshardham temple, which is actually modeled on the original Akshardham temple of Gujarat.